Hello everyone and welcome back to another album review, and in this video I'm going to review Monument by Molchat Doma. This is the third full-length album of the Belarus Coldwave and Darkwave project Molchat Doma. In a really short period of time, their second album became extremely popular that was released 2 years ago. It has managed to become one of the most talked about albums in the whole Darkwave and Coldwave scene in recent memory. Like, so many people talked about this album and how incredible it is. Me personally, I felt slightly indifferent towards the whole sound of this thing. It definitely manages to touch amazingly into the whole old school 80s sound of Darkwave music, with the synths, with the beats, the effects on the guitars and the bass, and also with a dark atmosphere that can also be portrayed with very deep vocals. But it's also an album that has its catchy and melodic elements to it. But overall it mostly goes into a sound of Darkwave that I've never been that much of a huge fan, with those particular segments of drum machine that they would use, or with some of the elements of the instrumentation, and I don't really find that this album reinvents the wheel in any sort of way. For the most part, I feel like it sounds like mostly typical Darkwave projects, not really offering something all that much, and I didn't even see myself with some of the melodies to really captivate me to the point where I would come back to it or have moments that would be really memorable for me. However, I still appreciate it as an album. I think it's a decent project, and it's certainly nice to see an album in this genre getting this much amount of popularity, and it's nice to see that the two projects they did were re-released from Sacred Bones Records, which is the label where they also released their third and new full-length album. Now, I didn't get into this project having that many expectations, and I also didn't see that many people talk about this album as much, and I would say that for the most part it offers more of the same. I would say that it has, in its short period of time, because it's just a 33-minute album, it actually managed to have multiple different elements of Coldwave and Darkwave music. Whether all of them work that amazingly, it's another thing, but I like that it had a bit of a variety to it. On the other hand, I feel that Monument is really samey and one-dimensional. It pretty much offers some of the same sounds and just goes with those particular elements. Like, the beats on the drum machines in this track sound almost identical in every single one of them. There is not something new with the use of synths or the guitar effects or the bass playing or with the vocals. It pretty much tries and somewhat succeeds into creating this old school 80s Darkwave aesthetic. Even though this album is pretty one-dimensional without that much of a development to it, I would say that at least it offers some of the greatest stuff melodically and some of the most memorable tracks, some of them becoming my personal favorite from everything Molchat Doma have done. And I would say that some of the greatest moments come with the teaser tracks, which the 3 out of the 9 songs in this album manage to reflect anything that you're going to get with the experience of this project. And I think it does it with some of the better constructed moments and some of the biggest highlights in the album, like with a really energetic and fun Discoteque, which in my opinion is possibly the catchiest thing out of this entire project. There is also the quite smooth and soothing Mesno, which in my opinion towards the second half it really manages to pick up into some really intriguing moments. And there is also the track Otveta, which is possibly my personal favorite work out of this entire project. I find that this one has the most captivating melody out of this whole project. I really enjoyed the combination of the guitar and bass on this thing, and I feel that the overall performance in this particular track is really spot on. The other moment, which is one of my personal highlights highlights out of this album, which has one of the most captivating melodies in this entire project. It's the track Udalil, Tvoy, Nomer, which I find that it's a really nice song. I like the melody to it. It's a track that drags a bit longer than what I want to, but compared to some other moments, I think that this one flows pretty nicely. And so this is the other thing I have sort of a complaint with this album. I feel that some of the tracks drag longer than what they need to. I think there are multiple moments that could have been cut off in some shorter tracks and making something similar to the length of their previous project, because this one drags a bit longer than what I want to personally. It's especially apparent with tracks like Vypolnyat. Like, this track in my opinion does not really need to be 5 to almost 6 minutes long. I personally feel that it would work nicely as a 3-minute track. The overall introduction of this album is not like really the strongest. Like, the track Obrechen is possibly one of my least favorite moments over here. I didn't really enjoy the beat choice on this thing, and I also think that this one possibly has the most underwhelming vocal delivery out of everything else in this project. And there is also the final track, which in my opinion makes for an underwhelming finisher. It's another one of those tracks that drags a bit longer than what I would need to. I'm pretty sure that this is also one of those occasions that it would work better as like a 3-minute track compared to 5.5 minutes. So yeah, I feel that in some occasions this album can be slightly one-dimensional, a bit forgettable, and with some of the moments dragging a bit longer than it needs to. But I also find that some of the best moments of Molchat Doma land on this album, with some really well-structured and well-developed tracks having some quite nice, beautiful and captivating melodies to them. But other than that, I feel that the third album doesn't really add something that new to the genre of Darkwave and Coldwave. It plays it a bit safe, which is not a bad thing obviously. It just makes for an album that, for me at least, ends up being just decent. I'm going to give Monument a 6+ out of 10. What's your opinion on this album? Like it, dislike it, why, and what do you want me to review next time? Let me know down in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.